Hello, everybody. Welcome to ItsKim Live. I'm sorry the intro for the show is a little bit weird today. We had some issues with connecting, but I think we're good. So you guys let me know. See me okay? Hear me okay? All that stuff. I know I usually have a bit longer of getting stuff ready, but it was weird. It was weird on the back end. But hi, I'm ItsKim, and welcome to ItsKim Live. And this is my show where I talk about things that I care about in pop culture, and we go over lots of stuff. We got lots of stories to go over today, and this is the way the show normally works. First, we start with the main topic. That is what is in the thumbnail. It's also what's in the title of the video, probably why you clicked on this. Then we go into a halftime where I communicate with my beautiful, beautiful community of space angels who are all coming in right now. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. So appreciate you. I'm going to ask you guys to please smash that like right now because I have been getting feedback that people aren't seeing this in their subscriptions. So I'm like, I don't know what I did, but apparently they're mad. So, it be what it be, but it is what it is. Also, then after that, we have our What the What section, which is where we look at something from around the internet that is interesting, funny, crazy, wild. I haven't seen it. I'm going to see it along with you guys for the first time because it's made courtesy of my partner in crime and my co host, producer sister, if you want to say hello.
Hello.
So I've heard it's good today. I've heard it's good today, and I think that's good. I think we all
Heard from where?
from you.
What?
Yeah, you had mentioned that it was going to be funny today.
Well, it was in line with a
Yes.
a video that was sent in our chat.
Yes, in our mod chat because guys, there's a lot of stuff going on today that I know a lot of people have a really heavy heart. I want to say right off the bat just my love and my prayers to everybody that is being affected right now with what's going on in California. It is absolutely heart-wrenching, and I did some work behind the scenes on Popcorn this morning, putting together a video talking about it and looking at some of the footage, and it's just awful and unfathomable. So I just want to say to everybody affected, my love, and I'm so sorry. And as soon as I see resources that are like credible, that actually will help people and all those types of things, I will do my best to share those with you. I looked a lot this morning, but right now the focus is getting people out. It's not about rebuilding right now. It's just getting people out. So, yeah, if you're in one of those areas, you're getting those warnings, please go. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of your family. Please take care of your animals. Just go. Get out. Your life is more important. And I just hope that everything works out for the best. And that just it feels so empty to say that right now. And I hate it. But I wanted to acknowledge that. Um, and yeah. So, I mean, the rest of the show will be as normal. I'll have timestamps in. You can jump around if you want, or you can watch it in full, all that good stuff. I did also just want to say thank you so much to General Scott for your PayPal you sent me today. I hope your weather behaves. At the risk of sounding corny, I hope you know that I do really greatly appreciate your support and your love for this channel and what I do. It really does mean the world to me. And I just saw you gifted, what is it, 6 memberships?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yep.
amazing. Thank you. You didn't need to do that, and I really, really appreciate it. And thank you guys for being here. Um, and yeah, we're gonna do our best to have a good show today. And guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I got some juicy stuff today. I also have something that has recently broke about Diddy that I am not seeing being reported very much. And it's a big deal, so I'm kind of excited. You may get something pretty early on. I'm sure there's going to be like articles about it shortly, but I'm proud because I'm on it really fast, which is nice. It makes me happy. So, shall we get into everything? What just happened? Why is it doing that? My PowerPoint has been super weird since my Windows did an update, and I don't know why it's doing that. It is driving me bananas. There we go. Okay. Much better. Okay. So, we have lots of stories today, and we're going to go through everything. I do also just want to say before we get super deep into the weeds here, I have a pinned comment in the chat. We have been experiencing some interruptions in our internet from our ISP, unfortunately, or internet service provider, if you don't know what that stands for. And I can't control what's going on with that. So if we disconnect or there's issues, first, please reload your stream. It could be a connection issue from YouTube as well, from us, and sometimes that happens with audio. I've also heard sometimes it's weird. It's like something happens with Apple devices. I don't know why, but it seems to be more prevalent with Apple devices. And if we disconnect, there's just buffering, Hang on, we will be back as soon as we possibly can. And please watch the chat for updates. We will keep you guys posted. Okay, so I hope that that makes sense. But yeah, this is bad. We got some bad updates today, but we also have some interesting updates today, so we're going to go through it. And this stream will include speculation and opinion and should not be taken as fact. Always do your own research. And links to the sources are in the description. So if you want to go and take a look at what I've been looking at to form my opinion, you are welcome to do so. And also want to give credit where credit is due, because I do appreciate people that do the reporting that they do so that I can do the show that I do and give my opinion on things. Also, hi YouTube human reviewer. We have tried to ensure that this video is appropriate according to the community guidelines. Viewers, please do not send hate to anyone, famous or not. It's not cute. We're all entitled to our opinions, but do not do anything that would cause harm to people. I do not support hate in any form. And I am also going to bug you guys again. Please smash that like, because it seems like we're having some issues with stuff getting sent out, and those likes really help. It's free 99 to do, and it means the world. Thank you. And all individuals mentioned are innocent until proven guilty. I can't just have a Diddy slide anymore. It's too much. People are getting in trouble. People are getting in trouble and they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. It's a good time. It's a good time. Allegedly. Yes, so Diddy. Oh, Diddy. I saw a story today, and last night, that I could not stop laughing. Apparently, Diddy is very jealous in jail. And he's throwing tantrums. Are you guys ready for this?
Because he's a savage.
Apparently, Diddy is so upset because Luigi, the guy who allegedly unalived the executive at the insurance company, the healthcare insurance company in the States, he's getting so much love. So Sean Diddy Combs is throwing tantrums in Brooklyn prison over CEO and aliver suspect Maglione getting more attention and being revered as a hero. I don't know. This is so funny to me. Producer Sister, before we read this hard-hitting journalism, I'd love to know your opinions on this.
What exactly has Diddy done to be revered as a hero? Not saying that what Luigi has done. Either way, like, I know there are arguments for both sides, and we're not getting into that discussion today.
No.
Why am I supposed to revere?
I don't know. And the thing is, like, I understand the logic that it's like, for many, Luigi is a vigilante. I get that. Yes. I get it. And vigilantes will always have their following of people. That will never change. And it's because those situations, there is gray area. Now, I'm not condoning what he did, but I'm just saying I understand why there are people that, you know, are sympathetic towards him. Not saying it's okay. But I'm just saying I see the angle.
I understand the thought process.
I see the angle, is my point. However, when it comes to Diddy, bro, you're not a vigilante.
No.
You're not, like, you are not at a disadvantage in your life, man. I mean, you're gonna feel like you are now. But come on. Part of the reason you're there is because you have so much power they can't let you out. Because you have so much influence over other people. Come on. Anyway, so this article says Sean Diddy Combs is said to be furious that he is not as popular as fellow prison inmate Luigi Maglione, who is accused of unaliving Brian Thompson. The rapper, facing his own charges, is not used to being the opening act.
Opening act? Oh, good grief.
I know! Okay, so both Combs and Maglione are housed in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Center as they each await their days in court. Both have pled not guilty to their respective charges, and as they sit in their cells, Radar Online has learned that Combs, 55, can't stand the fact that Maglione is being treated as the bigger star by their fellow inmates. According to sources, Diddy has been throwing tantrums over the fact that Luigi is getting all of the attention in prison and is being revered as a hero after literally unaliving somebody on camera. Maglione has been showered with love and support from prisoners who look at him as the hero and have shared their own stories of losing loved ones due to inadequate health care. A source told the Daily Mail not to mention the fact that the prison itself faces constant allegations of inadequate health care to those who are locked up. Combs and Maglione share a legal team, but they reportedly have not met each other in person. Now, that's not entirely true because what it is, so Costco lawyer is representing Diddy, right? Costco lawyer's wife is representing Luigi. So I wouldn't say they're the same team. That's oversimplification. But there's absolutely probably going to be dinner conversation between the two of them, I would assume. I'm just saying. So, Combs and, so they share the same legal team, but they have not met each other in prison. Maglione is being held in solitary confinement on his charges, while Combs is free to mingle with general population. The insider continued, they do not spend time together. The two really have zero in common. However, Maglione's popularity seems to have seeped into the rapper's skin. The source added, even in prison, Diddy's ego is bigger than life. Okay. So I'm reading this last night laughing. Just being like, oh my goodness. There are some stories I read and I'm like, this is wild. And then there's some that are so wild I believe them. I don't know how else to put that. Like, I believe this is entirely possible. Now, in Noelle, Alexa play Cry Me a River, oh my gosh. Okay, so, in all fairness, a source has gone to Us Weekly to say that Diddy is not jealous of Luigi, and there's no truth to it. So,
of course.
Okay, so here, are you ready for the receipts of why this isn't true?
Sure.
Here we go. Sean Diddy Combs is not bothered by Luigi Maglione joining him behind bars in New York City. Multiple outlets reported on Tuesday, January 7th, that Diddy was upset about the attention Maglione had taken from him inside of the jail. However, a source close to Diddy denied the idea that he was jealous of Maglione. The story has been completely made up, and there is no truth to it, an insider exclusively told Us Weekly. That's it. There's the denial. An insider that decided just to talk to Us Weekly. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you believe Diddy is jealous of Luigi? I'm just curious, because to me this is a sure Jan. Sure Jan. Because this the whole thing, it makes me laugh and it's so ridiculous, but I'm just really curious if I'm on another planet here looking at this and going, I can't. So let me know what you guys think. So far we are 100% yes. You believe it? Okay, I feel validated in this moment. I don't feel as crazy. So that's the arguably funny news with Diddy of the day. But we got big news, guys. We got important news. And now that I think most people are in the building, thank you guys so much for being here. Please smash that like. I'm seeing 85. We got 161 in here. I think we can get 100. I hope you like it if you're here. It's kind of weird if you're here and you don't. Like, I hope you find something you like. Anyway, we got a new filing today, like an hour ago or so. And this is an order from the judge. This is real. Here we go. United States District Judge. The court is in receipts of the parties' letter on the pretrial schedule. That's what we talked about on Monday. The following schedule will apply in advance of the start of the trial, which is beginning on May 5th. If you'll notice, number 2, enterprise letter. This is the letter that is going to expose all of the people who have been involved in the racket. We've been waiting for more people to be exposed, more names to come out, all that stuff. It's coming out in this letter. It's this piece. Now, Diddy's team wanted this to come out in February. The government wanted it to come out in March. The judge has ruled it is coming out February 1st, which means Diddy's team won. And in less than a month, we are going to get all of the info. It's coming. Now, I would not be surprised if the government files and goes, hey, can we have a little bit more leeway than that? Because February 1st is a Saturday. So again, rip my sleep schedule, rip my weekend. I get no rest, I get no sleep. We may be streaming on Saturday. I don't know. February 1st. It's insane. Maybe they'll choose to go earlier. Maybe they'll say, hey, can we get the extension until Monday? I don't know what it's going to look like, but this is really, really important and interesting. Now, the other thing we will see here is this kind of gives a schedule of what we're looking at before the trial. So this is, to me, this is a big hint as far as what we're going to be seeing over these next few months. So I'm going to go through this a little bit with you guys. So let me go over here and get a better look at what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, pretrial motions. Motions are going to be the 17th. Oppositions are going to be the February. The oppositions are going to be the 3rd and the 10th. Enterprise letters coming out February 1st. Expert notices. So I'm assuming this is like them saying the experts that are going to be involved in the trial. Government has to give them by the 7th of March. Defendants have to give it by the 14th. The rebuttals on March 21st. Other stuff going on. I don't know 100% what all of this means, but it's going to be interesting. Some of this stuff is attorney eyes only, attorney possession only. Now, the witnesses and exhibit lists, the government must submit their witnesses and exhibit lists by April 14th. So we're going to know who they're calling. Then the defendant gets to do so on the 25th of April. Jury questionnaire forms, April 11th. Requests to change, April 25th. There's a lot happening on April 25th. It's not too hot and it's not too cold, and all you need is a light jacket, and points to anybody that knows that reference. But yes, this is happening. This is happening, and I do think it is interesting that the judge has basically ruled in favor of Diddy at this point on that, because it definitely seemed like the government was saying, you know, Diddy wants to have his cake and eat it too, by saying he wants the Enterprise thing earlier, and that's not going to happen. And yes, it is happening. Yes, it is. So that is going to give us an idea. It looks like, sorry, who's saying? So we have lots coming, and I think at this point we're going to start to see more information that's going to tell us what to expect in this trial. And I think all this stuff is going to be really important because, unfortunately, unlike other trials we followed in the past, this will not be televised. So, you know, we're going to need to do some digging as far as who these people are, who the experts are, who's being implicated. Does that mean that a superseding indictment, if there's going to be one, needs to come out before the Enterprise letter? How is that going to work? Are other people going to be charged before the trial? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I mean, I kind of feel like the train has left the station. We're on our way to trial. And I couldn't help but feel like when I read that letter on Monday that talked about the Enterprise letter, I felt like there was a shift in tone that it's like, okay, it's go time now. I think it's go time. Producer sister, before we move on to Jay-Z, is there anything you want to add with that, just seeing that information? Any thoughts you have?
It's just making it that much more real.
Yeah.
I think, like, especially with the calendar turnover to the new year and all that, it's just, yeah, the clock's ticking.
Yep.
And especially, I think it's all kind of has this hovering piece over it of whether or not there's going to be a second indictment.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for all of these dates? And just still having that bit of unknown.
Yeah. And honestly, at this point, I kind of feel like now that we have a timeline, does that mean that people who are involved in this racket are now going to be changing their tunes? Are we going to see things like, I can't ignore that there was originally a date, from my understanding, that Diddy was supposed to be arrested. He went to New York to surrender. However, he was arrested prior to their agreed upon time, we believe, because of witness tampering. At that point, now, are things going to accelerate on the other end of things? You know, like with the other people who are involved. It's a lot. It's a lot. Angie just said, who's the voice talking? That is my producer sister, my co-host. She is the voice from beyond. She also takes care of our What the What, which you'll see later on in the show. But yes, Liam, to be clear, it will not be on television. It is not going to be on television. I'm guessing we're going to be relying a lot on people like Inner City Press. Shout out to them. And hopefully we will do our best to be able to find out what really is going on in that courtroom to the best of our ability. So that's what's going on with Diddy. Jay-Z front. Okay. The drama between Jay-Z and Buzbee at this point is getting pretty insane. It has really felt like every few days there is a new lawsuit filed by one of them, or there is a filing where they're bashing each other. It's honestly, to me, it's starting to feel like a you know, I know you're not, but what am I? Or I know you are, what am I? Or you suck, but you suck more. And it just kind of goes back and forth. So, for example, earlier this week, Buzbee's firm recently filed a lawsuit against another one, against Rock Nation. They had done one in December. They did another one this week, claiming that they are engaging in bribery. But the thing that has most recently happened is Alex Spiro has filed for sanctions against Buzbee. So I've got the article here from TMZ. Again, the classiest headline I've ever seen in my life. Incredible journalism. I am floored. Jay-Z blasts Tony Buzbee over our claim, your A ought to be sanctioned. All right, so from Jay-Z's perspective, or not perspective, but I mean, I find it very interesting that a lot of the time when Jay-Z has something that he likely would want out to the press, TMZ gets it and they get it very quickly. It's convenient. That's all I'm saying. So Jay-Z wants a piece of attorney Tony Buzbee's hide, legally speaking, and he is demanding a court sanction Buzbee for what Jay calls the false R lawsuit that has damaged his reputation. According to Jay's new motion, filed by his lawyer, Alex Spiro, Buzbee did not conduct even the most rudimentary investigation into the shocking claims made by his Jane Doe client in her lawsuit, and the woman alleged that Jay-Z and Diddy did awful things to her after the MTV Movie Awards in 2000 when she was 13 years old. In his filing, Jay also points out that Buzbee did not withdraw the lawsuit after an NBC News interview with the accuser aired and cast doubt on most of the details in her allegations. For instance, she said the attack occurred at a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway that was about 20 minutes from the VMAs by car, but there are photographs showing Jay at the Lotus nightclub in Manhattan after the award show. Also, she claimed her father picked her up after the A, but her dad has no recollection of that. In the docs, Jay says that that journey would have taken her around a 10-hour round trip, so it seems like something he'd remember. The woman also claims she'd watched the VMAs on a Jumbotron outside of Radio City Music Hall, but Jay says photos show there was no such screen, and in fact, NYC denied MTV's request to use one. And finally, Jay points to her claim that she spoke to Benji Madden. All of these things that they were able to throw, you know, they were able to poke holes in the story, 100%. So Jay-Z's overall point is all of these details were easily debunked. And if Buzbee had done the slightest bit of homework, he would have discovered all the holes in this woman's story before filing a lawsuit that is so damaging to Jay. So Buzbee has fired back, and this is what he said. With each frantic filing, Mr. Spiro's team reeks of desperation. Mr. Spiro and his team think the laws and rules don't apply to them. They are flat wrong. They also think they can bully or intimidate counsel by filing meritless and frivolous pleadings full of lies and half-truths. Again, they are dead wrong. We won't be bullied or intimidated ever. Now, I do hear the logic there from Buzbee. But I also see the logic from Spyro. I have heard the theories that perhaps she selected the wrong year, that she remembered the wrong year. And that is completely normal when it comes to trauma, for things to be jumbled, for things to be confusing, because the brain does what the brain does. But I also agree that these claims needed to be vetted. And so much of this could have been vetted so quickly, and they would have been able to be like, okay, I think maybe there's some inconsistencies here with what you've told us. Let's take a look at this and see if we can figure it out before we file a lawsuit. Because if you file a lawsuit like this, it puts your credibility into question. And we know now that the judge has granted Jay-Z the option to file a motion to dismiss. That doesn't mean it's getting dismissed at all, but it means that that option is there. And I have said this from the beginning, and I've really ticked some people off when I said it. I've really ticked a lot of people off. Some of the things I've said this week has been funny. We'll talk about that later. But it's not a good look for Buzbee, but this is also not a good look for Alex Spiro, because Alex Spiro has previously been called out by the judge for filing and being like basically don't tell me what to do. This is going to happen in the time frame that it's going to happen, because Spyro, I believe, was trying to expedite things, and the judge was like, no, I'm not doing it. So it's like there's a lot of stuff going back and forth right now, but the problem with the inconsistencies is that is so glaring, and it's difficult to ignore. And they've had a lot of time now to correct themselves, or to potentially bring in that other theory of it being in 2003, I believe it was. I'm disappointed that hasn't seemed to have happened, but I also don't know what else is going on behind the scenes with Buzbee, and it's been the holidays and there's been a lot going on. So that's where we are on that front. But yeah, it's getting messy. It's going to keep getting messy, and they're going to keep throwing stuff back and forth at each other, and I think the judge is just going to continue to get more and more annoyed. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws it out. I don't want him to. And I don't want people to misconstrue that. I want this woman to be able to have her fair day in court. But it just doesn't seem to be going that way. It's a mess. Producer sister, any input you want to put in before we go on to the next one?
No, I think, yeah. I think what we all have to keep in mind with a lot of this stuff is what we want to happen and what we think might happen are not necessarily the same.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we are happy that these things might be coming to pass.
No, and this is the thing too that's kind of been annoying me lately is I feel like if I state an opinion about something from a legal perspective, where I look at this and I go, hey, there's some holes here, or hey, the other side could go, this is a problem. If I point that out, then that means that I'm team that person. I'm not team Jay-Z. I believe Jay-Z has done some messed up stuff. And it does not surprise me at all that he is getting dragged into this stuff. I personally would like to see things be investigated from the point that he was around R. Kelly a lot. I'm amazed this hasn't happened previously.
Yeah.
That he has not been looked into, because R. Kelly is in jail. So I don't really understand that. But the thing is, you have to have the right case. You have to have the right charges, right? It's like, what is it? Al Capone got caught by tax evasion? Yeah. Was that the worst thing he ever did? Likely not. Just saying. But I'm just trying to be realistic and...
Well, part of it is that these are the same things that are going to be said the second they get into court.
Yeah.
And we've already been seeing that. The whole thing with Good Charlotte at the VMAs, like, it doesn't make sense. They weren't there. They were at a concert a couple states away.
And that's not going to look good with a jury.
No. So that doesn't mean, because you're pointing that out and whatnot,
that I'm team Jay-Z.
That you're team Jay-Z. It just means that what has been presented in this case isn't possible.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That doesn't mean I'm team either or.
Nope. Not at all.
So at some point you have to take what you want to be true or what you want to happen and step back and separate yourself from that and just put on your analytical rebuttal devil's advocate hat and say, okay, what is the other side going to say to this?
Because it's not good.
Because it's coming, regardless.
It's coming.
It's coming.
One way or the other.
That's how the legal system works. That's their job.
Yeah.
As a defense attorney, as prosecutor, is to poke holes.
100%.
So we have to be mindful of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to be realistic about it and be fair. Before we get into the next story, I do just want to say I didn't realize, King Bob, thank you for the gifted membership you sent in earlier. I missed that, and I'm so sorry that I did. My chat thing has been weird. I don't know what is going on, but thank you so much. So that means we actually have 7 memberships that have been gifted today. Then we have Emma, who sent in a $2 super chat saying, good morning from South Australia. It is 6:52 a.m. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I hope that this is a nice morning show for you. I appreciate it. And Presley57, welcome to the Space Angels. Thank you so much for joining. So that means we're at 8 then.
Yes.
We're at 8 memberships today, which is wonderful. Thank you so much. So appreciate you guys. You all are absolutely wonderful, and I love you all. Alrighty. Sarai said, do you have any updates for those that we love that live in LA? I don't have any updates. I talked about it a bit at the beginning that It's absolutely devastating and my heart is breaking, but it sounds like I'm trying to find places where we can send resources or do things, but right now it just seems like it's just get out. Just get out. If you're in those areas, just leave. Your life is more important. Grab your animals, go. There are shelters that will take you with them. Go. Just go. Please, please protect yourself. Um, okay, so we got another story. Put a 1th in the chat if you have been here since we've covered Ruby Franke. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to give you guys a little summary in case you're not aware of this story. Previously, we have covered a long saga. Oh, thank you, King Bob, and thank you, General Scott, who are now. It's the 1th gifting wars. I love it. I love it. So does that mean 10?
Yep.
We're back to team even. You guys are too funny. Thank you. Oh, now we're 11. Thank you, General Scott. I am gonna have to ignore the gifts. If you want to send in something, please do. I will. Thank you. We will get to it absolutely, but I do have to focus on this because this is. Oh, I feel so validated on this one, guys. So Ruby Franke was the matriarch of the Franke family, and they had a family vlog on YouTube called 8 Passengers. It was wildly successful. Millions of subs, millions of views, sponsorship deals, blah, 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 all over. And they were a very religious family, and I want to say right off the bat, that does play a role in this story, but I want to be clear that I don't believe that what they show as their faith and that they are Mormon, I don't believe that it is consistent with Mormon people. This is extreme. This is insane. And as I said at the beginning of the show, I will not tolerate any hatred towards people. Because I believe there's people in every faith who are just terrible people. In all honesty. Does that, producer sister, does that make sense? Like, yeah. Okay. So just to be completely clear on that one. But with their religious views and their beliefs, they were very, very strict. And to the point that a lot of people felt that it bordered on child A, I have to use code words here, or it just was straight out. And this all came to a head when one of her kids escaped. And he got to a neighbor's home, and the neighbor called 911. And the child was starved, injured, and showed physical evidence of torture, is how I'm going to word it. I'm not going to get into any more of the details because they are absolutely horrifying. There are images you can find of the kids. It's awful, how terrified they were, everything they went through. But the long and short of it is this occurred because Ruby collaborated with a therapist who had a history of controversy with her clients. And in my opinion was a cult leader. I don't know how else to put it. She's a cult leader and her name was Jody Hildebrandt. And the both of them facilitated the A on the children. And they also ran a group online to teach people how to parent their kids, as well as, marriage help.
I hope they get refunds.
Okay. Through this process, Ruby and her husband split up after, they had sought Jody's help to help with their marriage. And Ruby also became estranged from her daughter, Sherry. And as a result of the A on the kids, Ruby and Jody were both arrested. They have both been sentenced, and they are both currently in prison. This happened. And honestly, I hope neither of them get out. Because they're terrible people. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. And like Jane said, it broke my heart what those kids went through. It was beyond words. It is beyond words. And that's part of why I don't want to get any more into it, because I know how many people were horribly triggered while we went through this. But I thought it was very important at the time to voice these things and allow these victims to have a voice, especially kids, but also to do it with respect, and to support them as much as I could. And if you are interested in those details, if you look on my channel, I have a playlists tab, and on there is all the live streams. If you scroll down, you will see Ruby, this lady, as well as Jody in multiple of the thumbnails. And in those thumbnails, we talk about this and we get into the details. So if you want to go back and kind of follow that saga, you're welcome to do so. But I'm not going to really cover a huge amount of what we went over because I would be here for hours. Is that fair, producer sister? Like, it would take a long time for us to get through everything. So this is oversimplified. Sorry, Nicole, wood chipper! My grandfather had a saying called shark boat.
Yep.
That this was his favorite idea for the final level of punishment you can give someone in the law.
For context, he was in the military and a cop.
So basically, his mentality was some people just need to walk the plank off of a boat to where there are sharks. So it's very much been a thing in my family that when people are absolute garbage and we're like, oh, be done with it. Shark boat.
Shark boat.
Shark boat. Shark boat. Okay. So Sherry, the daughter that I mentioned, that she became estranged from the family, from Ruby, she tried to help her family. She reported them multiple times, tried to get police involved. She knew it was bad. And when the arrest happened, she stepped up. And she has been an incredibly impressive young woman, having to show just strength and maturity beyond her years. And it's been, it's been so much. And I've been so impressed with her. So when we wrapped up our coverage after Ruby's sentencing, I put up a few photos of people that we had talked about through the saga. The survivors of Ruby and Jody, as well as Sherry, because I felt like these are the people that we should be elevating because they're incredible. And, guys, Sherry wrote a book. And the tea! The tea! I need this book! I'm actually petrified of what is going to be in here. But it's a lot. So, she did an interview with Good Morning America, and then I got another article. We're going to go through here. I think this is... grab your popcorn, guys. Grab your tea. Here we go. Ruby Franke's daughter, Sherry, speaks out about her mom's arrest and how she was aided as a child. Now, I want to be clear. What has happened here is horrific, but part of why I'm laughing right now is because I made predictions about this, and I've been validated. So the joy I have is it's a I told you so type joy. Not that I'm happy that these things happened, but to be clear. There is also going to be another documentary. I know there was one on Peacock, but there's going to be a Hulu one that is coming as well. Yeah, on all of it. Here we go. It's gonna
also, Sherry is an adult.
Yes.
She is not, I believe she's in her 20s.
Yes.
So this has all gone down in the last year and whatnot. She was not one of the kids who was found or escaped.
No. And
she is an adult telling her story.
Sherry is also engaged.
Oh, good for
she
her.
announced, yeah, and she's made it very clear. She hasn't wanted to talk about her siblings. She's been trying to keep it very private, and she wants her life moving forward to be private. This is her sharing her side of this horrific story and what she's been through, and also in an effort to raise awareness about how unethical family vlogging can be.
She did, before this all went down, do a lot trying to advocate for her siblings to get them out to no avail.
So all the love for Sherry in the world. We're big fans of her here. Okay. So for the first time, Sherry Franke, the former YouTuber and convicted child heir Ruby Franke's eldest daughter, is telling her story in the new memoir, The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom. Sometimes I'll see myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like her. Or I sound like her, but I don't want to be anything like her. Sherry Franke told Eva Pilgrim in an interview about her book that aired on Tuesday on Good Morning America. In the book, Sherry Franke, who says she was cut off from the family when she left for college, detailed the alleged she says her mother inflicted throughout her childhood. So trigger warning for this. So she's going to talk about it a little bit. I love Megan P. Go Sherry! I know. And Katie Artist, exactly. When I was younger, around 5, 6, Ruby was really physical, she told Pilgrim of her childhood. Whether it was a slap on the lip or a slap on the cheek, when I would practice the piano, her hand would slam and it was really scary. Sherry Franke, the eldest of Franke's 6 children, writes in the book about her mom's relationship with Hildebrandt, described as a Mormon family counselor. When Hildebrandt entered their lives, Sherry Franke says the nature of the alleged A shifted from physical to more psychological. Now, I do want to be clear, there absolutely was physical abuse to the children. And other people who worked alongside Jody, for example, Jody's family member, Jesse Hildebrandt, has also alleged that there was physical abuse. Was it Jesse had to sleep outside, right?
I think so.
If I remember that. And there was one point where Jesse was forced to run up steps for like hours in the cold. Like it's bizarre, absolutely bizarre. In 2022, Hildebrandt moved into the Franke home shortly after the children's father, Kevin Franke, moved out, according to Sherry Franke. So yes, the family therapist moved into the home. Sherry says, I certainly got weird vibes from Jody and Ruby, she told Pilgrim, adding that her mom was secretive about the relationship with Hildebrandt. I don't think it's normal at all that a therapist would move into your client's home. I was moving out to college. I hadn't even left the house yet, and she's in my room and in my bed. To be clear, that is not normal. I have heard of a couple cases in which a live-in therapist will be with somebody. Normally, that is through a period of detoxing. From what I've heard, like I've heard of certain people, if they have, for example, an ED and they're struggling around the clock, but certainly would not be in the daughter's bed. This is not professional at all. In the book, Sherry Franke, that's my opinion, writes about the messages she found on Ruby Franke's laptop after their arrests, writing of the messages, Ruby expressing her frustration about having to cater to Jody's needs for physical affection without getting anything in return. Oh, we're going there, guys. We're going there. Jesse was right. If you remember, Jesse was right. When asked by Pilgrim whether she thought Ruby Franke and Hildebrandt were more than friends, Sherry Franke answered, I'm not sure. Hold on to that thought. Sherry Franke told Pilgrim she believes her mom cannot fully comprehend the guilt of what she pled guilty to. I think she's as sorry as she can be, Sherry Franke said. What she has done is so bad, I don't think her mind allows her to fully comprehend the guilt of all of that. And so I think she probably genuinely believed everything she said. I don't believe it, though. Ruby's speech at her sentencing hearing sounded like an award show speech that went on for far too long. It was exhausting, like throw up in your mouth. Gross. I needed to do things when it was over to decompress. Like I was like, I need a drink. Like this is awful. So in the months since her mom's sentencing, Sherry Franke told Pilgrim that she's been grappling with the concept of forgiveness. I love this so much. She said, forgiveness is something that I've had to study a lot. And I kind of think about what it means, she said. But for me, forgiveness would look like not letting that consume every moment of my life and all my thoughts. I'm just trying to move on with my life and trust that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. Yes. Forgiving does not mean that everything's fine. It doesn't mean that everything's great. As she continues her healing journey, she said she's focused on rebuilding the relationship with her siblings and father. Kevin Franke made a statement about Sherry. Now, this is, of course, after he tried to have Sherry arrested for going into their family home and taking things that were needed for her siblings, if I'm remembering that correctly. So he said that he's incredibly proud of his daughter. I know we do not have a lot of Kevin Franke fans in this room, so if you guys want to start your violins, here's your cue. I'm incredibly proud of Sherry for the woman she has become and for her strength. She has played and will continue to play a crucial role in the healing of our family, he said. I'm grateful for her example and learn a lot from her vulnerability and courage. She has a powerful voice and will make a positive impact on this world. I love my daughter, as you should. As you should. When asked if there was anything she would say to Ruby Franke, Sherry Franke told Pilgrim, probably tell her I'm happy without you. I was scared of her for so long, and I am here without her approval, and I am just fine. Can we just like applause up in here? Like just amazing. Emily, I love the tomatoes for Kevin. For real. Oh, yeah, yeah. Texas Painter Girl? Yeah. So, if I'm remembering this correctly, producer sister, can you correct me on this if I'm wrong? Because I feel like you might remember this, or we can, like, fact check it quickly so I'm not spreading misinformation. But after the arrest, Sherry went into the home, and I believe there were some devices that she took. I think there might have been passports. It was stuff that may have been needed for her siblings, or things I believe that she thought belonged to her. And Kevin was like, she can't come in the house. We didn't allow her to come in the house. But he wasn't even living in the house. So he was complaining about it to the police, and there was a body cam of him yelling at the cops, if I remember this correctly. Can you guys let me know in the chat if I'm like totally butchering this? But I feel like this is ingrained into my brain. But it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was so dumb. Are you seeing anything, producer sister?
Not off the initial search.
Okay. Let me take
It's everything from the last 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's
dominating.
the problem. That's the problem. Where's it? So Kevin, Frankie, body cam, Sherry. See if that comes up. Yeah, body cam footage has been released of Kevin Frankie from when the police gave Kevin the items back that he thought Sherry stole from Ruby's house. And I believe there was arguing about it of like, I want to file charges, and they were like, no. It was so cringy. It was ridiculous. Thank you, Emily. Accurate. Yeah, it was, and that's why there were a lot of people that really did not like Kevin. So, okay. So that was enough in itself. It was a lot. And then we get to the tea. So to be clear, Sherry has said she doesn't know if they were more than friends. But she shared a few details, and I just want to share these with you. Because I kind of feel like, was it Momo said, yeah, she took a laptop. He complained about it. He later came out and that he was worried about missing cash. Okay. But I'm just saying, it was a lot. It was a lot. Yes, this headline exists. Ruby Frankie's steamy lesbian affair. Revealed by daughter who caught her with fellow heir Jody Hildebrand. I know I can't keep this up on screen for very long, and I did not censor this on purpose because I just want to take this in. I want to take this in. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Shamed mommy vlogger Ruby Frankie had a torrid lesbian affair with her fellow YouTuber and child heir Jody Hildebrand, according to her estranged daughter's bombshell new memoir. In the House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, published today, Sherry Frankie describes discovering the truth about the pair's relationship, even while they condemned gay people to their millions of avid followers. I have said over and over on this channel, in my personal experience, and it has proven true time and time and time and time again, the most homophobic people are the ones that are so far in the closet they're in Narnia. And their hatred is literally their own self-loathing reflected at other people. And I kind of started going, I think that this is what is possibly going on here between Ruby and Jody. And then Jessie Hildebrandt made a statement about it. She said that they talked about it once, and I believe Jody said something to the effect of like, oh, well, it would be different if it was with me because it would be emotional, so it's fine, essentially. Like, okay. And then there was somebody that was actually in jail with Ruby, I believe, that said something about that she thought maybe something was going on. So this is what is said in the book. I want to be clear. I do feel like this is a little bit dramatic of a headline when these words were not used by Sherry, but Sherry is going to share what she saw, and to me it looks like a duck. In the House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, published today, she describes discovering the truth about the pair's relationship. Hildebrand's friendship with Mormon mom of 6, Frankie, began as a business partnership through Franke's YouTube channel, 8 Passengers, and Hildebrand's life coaching Connections classroom to save people from distortion. But it became much more intimate after Hildebrand claimed that she was under siege from Satan himself. She moved into Sherry's bedroom in the Franke family's Utah home, regulating Sherry to the living room couch, and invoked strict rules that no one should enter without express permission. Even Ruby's husband, Kevin, was barred. He was told upstairs was off limits, right, Sherry? He could leave the house when he wanted, but he couldn't return without Ruby's permission. Even access to the kitchen for meals required her approval. Why would you need that much control in a household? Why? Why? It's almost like you're trying to hide something. Before long, Ruby too moved into Jody's room from the marital bedroom, so her friend didn't have to suffer through her demonic night terrors alone. Apparently, Jody was experiencing incredibly detailed visions. In some, she saw Ruby walking on water alongside Jesus, and in others, she envisioned herself riding a massive lion named Charles through the gates of heaven.
It's time to see a doctor.
There's a lion named Charles. Oh gosh, I don't know, that just hits my funny bone, especially because I have a Shih Tzu, which is known as the lion dog, whose name is Charlie. His actual name is Charles, but we call him Charlie. The pair spent an increasingly amount of time hunkered down in their upstairs sanctuary. I wonder why. When they left the bedroom, it was often to take shopping trips to Mexico and returning with bags full of pills. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. This is insane. It's absolutely insane. When I asked about it, Ruby claimed it was all part of their grand plan to stockpile antibiotics for the end of days. Producer sister, how you doing?
What the crap?
Oh my gosh. Kyle said I thought Charlie was a unicorn. He is partially named after the unicorn. Not gonna lie. That's a whole other story, but let's stay on topic. The reality of their relationship became clear, however, when Sherry decided to take advantage of one of their rare absences to retrieve some books from her former bedroom. I pushed open the door, looked around, confused. She writes, the room was bathed in the soft glow of candles. Did they leave candles going?
I hope not.
Oh gosh. The air was heavy, with the scent of lavender and vanilla wafting from the massage oils on the dresser. I quickly grabbed what I needed and got the hell out of there, feeling like I had just walked into someone else's honeymoon suite. The only thing missing was the rose petals on the bed. That night, she couldn't sleep and woke around 5 a.m. to see her mother emerging, disheveled, from the bedroom, her hair messy, cheeks flushed, and her robe hastily tied, a strange smile on her face. She looked mischievous. What do you guys think was going on? You know, just conveniently barring the husband from coming upstairs. Candles everywhere, massage oil. Sneaking around in hours of the night. This seems completely professional.
Oh, yeah.
Completely. There's nothing here. There's nothing to see here. Pay no attention to the therapist behind the curtain. She continues, what is going on? Why was Ruby sneaking around in the middle of the night like a teenager trying not to get caught by her parents? Because she was sneaking around like a teenager trying not to get caught by her husband.
Pretty much.
Period. That's my opinion. Were they really doing candlelit massages in my bedroom? Yes. I would put my bets on yes. Obviously, I can't say 100%, which I think is part of why she says I can't say if they were more than friends or not, but like...
If it looks like a duck.
Oh my gosh, the ducks are everywhere. They're everywhere. Oh, Kyle. She was sure speaking the Lord's name for sure. That's a way to put it. That's a way to put it. Oh my goodness. It was equal parts fascinating and horrific. Two women who preached the truth while living lies. What? Who condemned queerness very publicly in their Connections videos while embodying it privately in my room, on my bed, most likely. She casually mentioned Jodi's name to an acquaintance the following day, someone she knew to be gay. Their response, OMG, that woman is so closeted. They said, adding that often the most homophobic people are hiding something about their own sexuality. Isn't that amazing, everyone? Are we shocked? Are we shocked? General Scott, I cannot read that, and I see that. Stop, you guys. She writes that, had both women been open about their relationship, she would have backed them. Yes, it would have hurt. And I mean, with their belief structure, I understand that. There's a lot of people who aren't cool with that, unfortunately, in different faiths. Doesn't bother me in the least. I think everybody's got to do what's right for them, and it's very complicated when you look into the theology of it all. I know that some people are going to disagree with me on that front, but I'm affirming it is what it is. But I do appreciate what she says. It would have been preferable to living like this in a house of lies that I couldn't bear to step foot in anymore, which is absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair. And it's wild to me because Jodi has had so much criticism over the years of her marriage counseling, and all of a sudden how many of these couples get divorced and they end up having this like hatred towards their husbands. It's very anti-men at points in the therapy from what I had read. And now this causes me to wonder, how much was this happening? Was Ruby the first? Because a part of me thinks probably not. But I obviously can't tell that one way or the other. But it's just, oh, it is absolutely crazy. So I cannot help but then look at this and think about all the marriages that Jodi Hildebrandt may have destroyed, the families she would have torn apart, as well as the people that she traumatized. The list goes on and on and on. I don't like to say this very often, but I think I think Jodi Hildebrandt is just pure evil at this point. It takes a special level of evil in a person to carry on with this and to do what she did, not only to the children, but to her clients, to everybody. And I really hope that people are feeling very validated right now who have been hurt by her as these things are being exposed. And I'm very happy to hear that, there's going to be a Hulu documentary and there's a Peacock documentary. And I say that especially because I am scared of what Jodi would do when she gets out of prison. I think Ruby will probably emerge with her tail between her legs, and her name and her face will be held in infamy. I don't think she's going to be able to have the same type of platform to hurt anybody ever again, and she's certainly not going to be able to keep any children she has. I can't see child services, family services allowing that. Jodi, on the other hand, though, because of the way that she has been able to go through her life, and this is why I say it's almost like a cult leader thing. She's been able to manipulate so many people and hurt so many people. When she gets out, it doesn't matter if she has a therapist license or not. There are a lot of people who operate in religious organizations that are not qualified to be therapists who are therapists. But people feel more comfortable because they're like, oh, they're religious. So I am quite bluntly very open to any amount of people talking about Jodi and bringing this stuff out into the limelight, because I hope she's never put in a position where she's able to hurt anybody else ever again. Which is why I personally don't think that she should be able to get out of prison. However, she may start a cult there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So, there's our update on the 8 passengers drama, everybody. I hope you guys understand why I've been laughing a little bit through this, because, this just feels so validating in so many ways. Again, I have no issue with people loving who they want to love and being who they want to be. I'm very open about that. I'm very accepting of that. My issue is when you live a lie. My issue is when you demonize other people for something that you do, or that you demonize other people for something of who they are. It's so ridiculous. It's so hypocritical, and I'm glad it's being exposed. And yeah, watch out for the people that really, 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 really hate gay people, because they're usually in Narnia. That's my thesis. That's my hypothesis, and I stick by it because time after time after time, I am proven correct. And there are our main stories for the day. How is everybody doing? Oh my goodness. I am going to enjoy watching the stream back and seeing your chat through all of this, because every time I looked over, I started laughing and I had to stop looking at it. I do want to check in with messages that you guys have sent in. Thank you so much to everybody that is here. Thank you for all of the likes. I so appreciate that. Please make sure you've hit that like if you have not done so already. It means the world to me, and it really helps out. And I think it's safe to say that some people finally got notifications.
Yeah.
Which is good. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Um, Denise sent in her Emberstone Mile chat saying, Happy New Year. It's been a while. Back to hydrate. It has been. I'm glad to see you back. It's good to see you. Doro has been a member for 15 months. My goodness. Hi. Just saying hi. And then I'm going to sleep. Have a good night. Have a good night. I hope you laugh at this later. Like you see all the madness and, you know, because I think Dora's been around for a long time with the 15 months. I think she's probably aware. Denise, she said, I meant to say hibernate. Yep. Fires are too much. I'm not as close to it as Marcella. Happy thoughts for Lewis. My relatives are safe. I'm so sorry to everybody. I've been trying to reach out to a few people and hopefully talk to them, because I am concerned. And I mean, I think we all are at this point. Yeah. I'm waiting to hear back from a few people right now, so I'm hoping I hear from them soon. It's just awful. It's absolutely awful. I am trying to keep this show upbeat because I know how awful things are right now. Are we ready for a Lacey break? I can ask her. I'm already seeing some emojis in the chat asking for her. Let me see. Lace, do you want to come say hi? Okay. Okay. Let me fix your bandana. Here we go. Here's Lacey. Lacey says hello to everyone. Yeah, Lacey says hi. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody? We haven't had a burp yet this year, but that's okay. I'm not going to force you to burp. No sneeze, no real lick or anything, no yawn. You're just kind of in your chill era. Right? Yeah, you're just in the I am just living. I'm just being. Okay. You gonna yawn? You look like you're gonna yawn. No, we're just licking? Okay. Thank you, Macy. She's been so funny. I got her some more of her little tennis balls that she loves for Christmas, and she's been finding ways to sneak them up onto the bed. And every night I keep having to take them off the bed and put them in her ball basket where I keep all of her little tennis balls. And she keeps finding ways to get them back up on the bed, and I'm like, how are you doing this? And I found out she's been manipulating her father. And I've been like, what are you doing?
I came in, she had like 6 on the bed.
And this is the thing, I take them off every night, because if I don't, they go flying if we roll over.
Yeah.
And they have little bells in them, so they make noise, and it's gonna scare everybody half to death.
It's like, please, come on.
Oh. Yeah. So, yeah, she's doing good. Yep. Alrighty. Well, this is our halftime, so this is the time if you've got questions, if you've got comments, if you've got anything you want to say, anything you want to ask. Now is your opportunity. We can have a little talk for a few minutes, and then we'll move into What the What, which is our fun part of the stream where we look at something from around the internet that is interesting, funny, crazy, wild. I haven't seen it. I'm excited. I gotta pull it up, actually, because I have not downloaded it yet, so I will grab that. Producer Sister, do you have any final thoughts on everything as we let people send in questions and such?
Just that I am happy that I don't know if happy's the right word, but kind of just going with what you said about Jody. And I feel like so many of these headlines have been about Ruby,
Mm-hmm.
where Jody is so dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
So any headlines that can help bring that to the forefront to help prevent her from influencing anyone moving forward, and at the same time anyone whom she already has, just there might be some validation in hearing all of this to undo some damage that she's done of just hearing different pieces of this story. Because as you said, I would not be surprised, license or not, if she tries to do something again when she gets out. So the more people who hear about this now, the better chance we have to prevent that from happening again moving forward.
100%. And that's, I think that's my fear, is that I get nervous, and it's like I don't want to throw shade at anybody, because like I think there are times where religious counseling is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for example, when I got married, my friend who was a pastor agreed to marry my husband and I, and really wanted to. And he was so happy for us when we got engaged, but he had a policy that it's like, no, I do marriage counseling with everybody before they get married. And it wasn't anything that was super invasive or anything like that. And a lot of it was just, he just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. And before they got married. And I do believe, I think that nobody should be forced to perform marriage on anyone they don't want to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that that's fair. You know, I guess it's different if it's like civil, like if it's you go to the courthouse or whatever. But I understand it in a religious sense. If you feel that marriage is something religious, I respect it. Um, but to try to be a clinical therapist without qualification and only using religion as your marker is a problem, because you're not going to see if there are larger psychological issues going on. And I don't say that in a mean way. I just say that, for example, the amount of misdiagnosis that goes on just in clinical practice is huge. If you don't have all of those tools at your disposal, if you don't have all those tests at your disposal, it's going to be even worse. And you're not going to necessarily see that maybe the type of therapy that you're doing could be further damaging the person. Right? And that's always my fear. And I don't think that it's a super great thing. And there have been religious therapies in the past that have really damaged people. So I'm just really hoping that that isn't what's in her future if she gets out. That's what scared me. So I am all for, you know, let her face be known, let her name be known, hopefully save other people, like what Adam Paul Steed had to go through, if you guys remember him, because his story has haunted me since. It's just, oh gosh, yeah, his was a lot. His was a lot. If you choose to Google him and look him up, he's an incredible man. Be ready, because it's one of the most horrific things I've ever heard in my life. So, yeah. Da, da, da. Nicole said, my Great Dane is lying on the couch belly up and using a pillow. Just wanted to share the cuteness. I love it. Share the cuteness. We need the cuteness. Where is it? Oh, Rosa just said, what is the brand of pill pockets you use for Lacey and Charlie? Gonna order from the US due to lack of variety here. I just get greenies. They're called greenies. I get them at PetSmart in the States, or in Canada as well. They have them on Amazon. They're pretty mainstream. They got different flavors. My kids love the my puppies, my fur babies. They love the chicken flavor, and they're great. Never had an issue. Go. Carbonize just said, hello, damaged church person here, lol, though I was raised in Christian nationalism and escaped at 17. Yeah, it's, unfortunately, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories, and I'm sorry. I know, Carbonize, you've shared with us some of what you've been through, and it's just, I'm so happy you're out of it. And I'm so, I really appreciate that you have been willing to share some of that, because I know it takes a lot, and you're amazing. Emily just said, Kim and producer sister, any goals for the channel this year? I mean, my goal is always, I feel like you're like a real YouTuber once you get to 100K. And I know that that's kind of the thing. There's always like a goalpost for me that I'm like, I'm not a real YouTuber yet. But yeah, it's, you know, I just want to keep growing. I want to keep growing, and I want to keep building this community.